How's it going, you glorious rapscallion bastards? The name is FOXSOL. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to some more WutheringWaves, and I will say like this, like I do in every video. I hope you're having a great day. I really do, truly do. Well, because, you know, you're taking the time to come here, watch my videos, and I will say like this, that legitimately, as long as I can somewhat make your day a little bit better, it makes me happy. But in any case scenario, thank you for taking the time for listening to me out right there. Today's video is going to be a discussionary topic video, and today's discussion is going to be mainly revolved around a wish list of items. 5 items that I wish would be in the game. One of these items, I will say, probably will never enter the game because it would be completely unbalanced, but I think it would be still pretty cool to have it. But the other items I think could be well worth adding the investment into this game. So without further ado, let's get into it. So one of the biggest things that I think that legitimately should be in this game, and this is from me to you guys in this sense, is that I would love to see in this game absolutely having in the gallery a way to basically replay the story mode. And a lot of you probably, well, you know, the story mode, I know from a few people I've talked to, they weren't interested in the story that much, you know, just like I wasn't really interested in the story either. They weren't really interested in it, so, you know, they didn't want to bother too much with investing the time. Like, let's just rush through this, let's get this over, let's get this done with now, so that way we can move on to the next, you know, to actually doing our builds and stuff like this. And I get that, I really do get that, don't get me wrong, but you know, there's some times that I, you know, skip the story and I probably shouldn't have, and you know, I don't like to go back onto actually YouTube and such to go watch cutscenes to go get a generalized idea of the story. And the wiki on basically the characters and the story lore is a little, right now, because this is a new game, it's a little lacking in my personal opinion. So what would be really cool is that if, for example, right here under map, I mean, not map, excuse me, I mean, stupid here, on a gallery right here, where it says main story, if right here, you know, I know you can click this and you can go through the story like this and you can read this, but I would think that, you know, for certain things, that if you could just, you know, you could just click something and you can replay this entire scene, this entire part of the story right here, these elements right here, I think that would actually be really cool, especially that way you could also get replayable, you know, cut scenes back that you might have skipped through the cutscene, you might not have watched the cutscene all the way, or you missing something, you really just want to watch, you know, Chang Li go ahead and fight again, and you just really want to have that cutscene all over again and not have to go watch it on YouTube. You just want to have it in the main game so that way you can enjoy it. But hey, I digress from that point. I just think that like a replayable scenario of a story, just mainly to get just for the cutscenes, I'll be honest, for the actual in-game cutscenes in this would be great to have, or even just a replayable cutscenes would be great. That is one thing that I think would be pretty cool to have. Another thing that I think that should be added in this, and I'm going to use a little bit of a past experience with another game involved that I'm still currently involved with to a certain degree, which is Wallet May Cry, or, you know, Devil May Cry Peak of Combat. Which the biggest thing that game had that I thought was amazingly fun to have with friends and everything was the addition that game had was a true co-op mode for boss raids. So it gave us like different scenario boss raids that we can just go in and have fun. So picture like, I'll put it like this, picture having, you know, the holographic bosses, but you and like 2 other friends of yours can just go in there and beat the shit out of it together. You each have your own build with your own characters, and you're going in and you're working together. I would love to see an actual event or, you know, boss raid scenario, something like a boss rush co-op, something to where we could take the holographic bosses and just in general just go in and have fun, just working together to defeat these bosses, because they're no joke. They really aren't no joke, and it would be, I think, pretty cool to where you could even give like certain rewards for it, because I believe, you know, yes, I know the game is pay to win to a certain degree, but You know, I do believe that you still need to have an effort in the game to truly go ahead and maximize, you know, what your earns are. So that way, even for free-to-play players, we can make it worth the while. Just want to blast that again.
Onwards.
So I think, like, yeah, I think that having a co-op function to where, you know, kind of like how the weekly bosses are, to where you can go fight them 3 times in a row pretty much, and you can get, you know, their shit. I think that if we can do that with majority of the bosses, make a boss run thing to where you can get, you know, higher up rewards, make it to where it's special enough just for us to keep playing it over and over and over again with friends, I think that would be pretty cool. Like the Calamity boss is what I'm talking about. So like the Calamity bosses, the big bosses that you can only do 3 times a week to get the rewards from, that I think that if you could do that with the holographic side, but make it just to where we could do a boss rush with 2 other players, 2 friends, I think that would be relatively cool, relatively fun just to be able to do that. Now, that is like 2 options right there that I can say that I would generally love. One more thing that I would love to see in here, and don't get me wrong, they already have improved it drastically, and that is great. But is the ecosystem, I still would love to see that get improved more. And the main thing that I would love to see get improved in that still is the fact that resources are still a little tight. Not really the tuners. The tuners I'm fine with how that is operated with the passive fields, but I still find that we should have more in terms of more abilities to collect XP for echoes that we have. That I still think it's not a big deal right now, but like they added to where you can synthesize now 6 times a week, you know, some jars of XP, which isn't much XP to be completely honest, but I mean, it's better than nothing. I'll give you that. It's better than anything right now. And I would love to see that actually get improved on. I would love to see it to where, like I said before in videos before, that the data bank system right here, not only can we, you know, get these 2 possibilities, you know, elite class right here and common class echoes, but I would love to see that there be a 3rd option here, that there's a possibility of getting like even a purple or a gold. Gold would be some phenomenal to have, but even a purple would be fine of XP. So like if you do like this like 10 times, you'll get like 2 jars of XP because you're doing that in the database. I think that would be pretty cool to have personally. And I think that would be a little bit better of a system, and it would be more grindy. Don't get me wrong, the game would be a little bit more grindy at that point.
Forgive me.
And maybe a little bit more tedious, but hey, we get to actually play around a lot more with the ecosystem. What we gotta do? We gotta go hunt down echoes, you know, and go get rid of our useless echoes in order to get jars of XP. And you can do it to where like after 10, you get like 2 jars of XP, you know, 10,000. And after every 40, you know, like after every 10 echoes or whatever, you get that. It'll add up, and you'll have to, you know, actually go farm echoes. You actually have to come out here. You'll actually have to go ahead and fight these enemies, not just bypass it, because there's a possibility they'll drop an echo. You could probably limit down the echo droppage if that's the case to make it a little bit more balanced. But I think that that would be a cool feature that you could work on, and you can make the ecosystem much better if you would just, you know, have it to where we could actually play around with it. Because doing the tacit fields and everything else, you still need a lot of echo jars, basically a lot of XP to just get them up to level 25 and such. And I think that that would cure that problem in that regards. So yeah, I would love to see some more improvements with the ecosystem. Personally, that is me. I would love to see more improvements. And I think the next one that I'm going to put up here is that, you know how when you're leveling up and we're all, you know, like for me, I'm union level right now, 61, and we're Soul 3 phase 7. and we can get to Soul Phase 8.
Your time is over.
I'm going to say, and I'm not sure if too many people are going to agree with this, but I honestly do think that, you know, when we, and maybe it might be like this, I don't know, because I haven't reached there, and I haven't seen anyone else reach this point because I really haven't done any research on it. So correct me if I'm wrong about this information in the comments below. But what I would like to see with, you know, phases, you know, the soul phases, that if we could continue doing soul phases and we could still continue doing that and we get to the next soul phase, I would actually like to see the world itself get more aggressive and more hard, because I don't find that, in all honesty, like the basic bosses, right? The basic enemies are that aggressive. And I would love to see these guys get more aggressive. I would love to see, you know, the bosses actually act like the holographic bosses, their holographic form. That I think would be absolutely really, really good to have. Because one thing that sets this game apart, and in my personal opinion to that of like Genshin, is the fact that this game is very, very fucking challenging, you know, in certain aspects. And I would love to see this game get more like that. Now, I grant you, like let's put it this, Cure Games made Punishing Gray Raven, and Punishing Gray Raven is a hard-ass fucking game. From everybody's told me, I've never really gotten to experience that game as much as anyone else, and I'm thinking about actually starting it up on this channel. And you tell me down below if I should or shouldn't. But from my understanding, that game is relatively fucking hard just for the game itself. Not in terms of, you know, hey, they have these hard modes. It's like the game in general is very punishing. That's the reason why, yo, it's called Punishing Gray Raven. It gets fucking hard as shit in just a campaign. And I would love to see something like this in the game itself as well. So like if I hit level 80, I would love, like, you know, and we get to the next soul level, I would love to see it to where, you know, the bosses act more like the holographic boss. They'll start getting more aggressive. They'll actually start pulling out new moves out their ass and, you know, wipe the floor with my ass. And I have to learn basically how to parry at the right time. I have to learn, you know, how to dodge at the right time, because right now pretty much you could be a button mashing fucker right now. You can go fight the Jew boss right now. You can go fight any of the bosses that's not a holographic boss version, and you can pretty much, with the lowest character, just button mashing when your way through it. It's not, they're not hard. They're not that challenging. That's why I love the holographic bosses. I love going sit here and go fight the holographic boss 100 times, because that shit gets fucking tanky and that shit gets harder, and each phase they get stronger and they wipe out new moves, and it gives me, you know, an understanding future wise that this game might have more potential than what some people think of that. And that's one of the potentials meters. I think that we should have the ability to select a difficulty. You know, hey, look, if you travel into this next section, you know, you level up the world one more time. You know, you're going to go into a nightmare world to where you're level 90 and you're going to go fight level 150 fucking enemies. It's going to be unbalanced. You're going to need to learn how to dodge, and you're going to die. I want to play basically my Dark Souls in this game. That is clearly the idea point that I'm trying to get across there, I think. And the last thing that I think that we're going to discuss that I would love to see in this game, I know it can't happen though. I know this wouldn't be able to happen, but I think it would be pretty cool. It would be unbalanced, but it would be funny as fuck in my personal opinion. And if they did this, I would host tournaments for this shit. We would have weekly tournaments just for this. I would love to see an actual where you can bring in your friends and you could select, like, hey, I could pick Yinlin, you know, someone picks, you know, Jinshi, someone picks, you know, Jian, and we could come in here and two of my friends or myself against someone else, we could sit there, we could do a spar mode, and it's a PvP match, build versus build. You could have two GNs fight each other, and you can say like my build's better than your build, and we'll say, all right, let's prove it. And you can do a fucking spar match against two people, make an arena in here, and unlock a PvP mode. and leave it unbalanced. Like legitimately, I'm going to say it like this. You don't need to balance that shit because this is not a fighting game. You don't need to balance it. Leave it unbalanced. Just make a PvP mode and make it to where my build versus your build, and let's see whose build's better. I would fucking love that, and that could set up so much content in general. Like Devil May Cry does it, okay? And I'm thinking about like doing weekly tournaments, you know, right now. If I want to continue doing DMC content, then I'm thinking about doing weekly tournaments with the PvP mode to be like, okay, you grab your phone, I got on my PC, and let's just go ahead and go at it and just watch two people deck it out. Let's see whose build's better. I think that they could figure out a way of doing that system. I think that system would be very cool, in my personal opinion, to go ahead and build. And like I said, I wouldn't worry about the balancing on it. I really wouldn't. I would, like I said, I would make it to where it's one character versus one character, not 3v3, you know, in that sense, to where you can swap out your characters. I mean, if you could do that, that'd be great. I think, you know, that would still be great. But as a small little thing, you know, just for additional fun purposes, I would love just to see, you know, where me and two other friends can come in, two friends are arguing between, you know, my GN's better than your GN, and be like, all right, deck it out, you know, let's watch you two fight it out with your two characters. Let's go. And just go to the arena, let them fight it out, and just have a ball, and whoever wins gets the bragging rights at that point. Or a way to test out, you know, different things, show different combos to other friends. You could use it for multiple educational purposes. You know, you could show why your Echo build is better than someone else's Echo build. You could do different things in that regards. So I would love, and like I said, I don't think it'll ever would happen in this game, but that would be something that I think would set this game apart from games like Genshin and such, is if you were to add something like a PvP mode in here and make it to where just go have fun. That's it. Just go in there and have fun. But other than that, guys, that is really all I have in this conversation. That is the 5 wish list items that I want to go ahead and take the time to discuss. From basically, you know, a little bit of recap, from going ahead and talk about like replayable cutscenes, replayable story mode, from, you know, doing future events such as like a boss raid where you could bring buddies in to fight like the holographic bosses, make something that would be pretty cool in that regards. I would love to see, you know, a little bit more of the improvement of the ecosystem, like I stated, you know, something to where we can really take full advantage of it and make it, you know, it would be a grind. Don't get me wrong, it would be a grind, but I think it would be a worthwhile grind at that game. It would get people to keep wanting to play more instead of just do their dailies, do their stuff, and leave. I would like to see, you know, again, when it comes to maybe like the soul level, or if you keep leveling up your world or somehow, that you could just have it to where the enemies themselves, they're not just tankier, but they get more aggressive, that they become more of a threat and basically turn the world into a Dark Souls type game. I would love to see a punishing factor, even if you would have to change, you know, a difficulty. Like the game says, hey, if you do this, you're going into nightmare mode, basically. You're going into hell. And just warn players so that way your casual players can stay where they're at. No big deal. But players like myself who, you know, wants to get to the next area, we want a challenge, we can just go in and have fun, you know, and go get ourselves killed. And then, like I said, the last thing that I would really love to have in here, which I know wouldn't happen, is straight up, I would just love to have a straight up PvP mode. It doesn't have to be a 3v3 type deal. We don't have to have an arena scenario. It could be a one versus, you know, just like how you play in this game. You select one character and you go play with a friend, and you're the 3 characters, the 3 amigos anyway. I would love to see it to where you can select an option to be like, yo, let's PvP, and then if someone else does their option, you know, selects their option, boom, you go into PvP mode, you watch 2 people fight, and then that way we could spectate fights. Like I said, I would host tournaments on that stream if that be the case. I think it would be pretty cool to have just a function like that. So, like I said, that is basically everything that I want to generate and discuss. So tell me your thoughts down below. What is like 5 key items that you would like to see in this game? You know, I gave you my 5. You took the time. You watched this video. You're here at this point in the video for some apparent reason. So, hey, why don't you go ahead and take the time? Let me know what your 5 characters, or you know, not 5 characters, but your 5 different things that you would like to see happen in this game. And let's have a conversation. All right? Until next time, I'll catch you on the flip side. Peace.